Welcome back to Pebblestone Park. I just recorded this episode and I somehow closed Audacity and didn't save the audio, so I'm doing the audio over the recording, which really blows, but whatever, I made the mistake. Right here I'm showing off the last time I played the park. It was in complete disrepair because I spent so much time building and all the benches are broken. Every single picnic table is broken. There is trash literally all over the place. The bins are tipped over. Everything is a mess. And it got even worse because in between episodes I built a thing, which is not here because I loaded the wrong save file. So I load the right save file. I built a little photo booth because I wanted the ride to have an on-ride photo and a little photo booth going off the exit just to kind of fill some space and make things look nice around the ride. I really liked the ride exit and I wanted to expand on it. I did record the process of building this, but it took me forever to make it say photo on top and look right, and it wasn't very fun to watch, so I figured I would just skip it, just leave it in. I'm still learning how to do this and not screw it up. So that was a screw up, and this redone audio is a screw up. Hopefully I don't forget to save the audio this time, but whatever. At least now I know what I was going to do, and I can talk about other stuff in the meantime because I don't have to wing it the whole time. But here I'm showing off the photo booth. You know, there's a little sign directing you to it. On the inside there's a first aid just to draw people over in that direction. Not very many people were getting sick from this coaster, but a couple were, so a couple people will go over there, but it'll cost a little bit of extra money to run, which I guess is fine. I like my games challenging, and I actually like wasting money. That raven there is actually blocking the top of the P, which sticks out through the eave, because I was too lazy to move every single piece of text down just a tiny bit. You can see every single bench is broken out front. There's trash all over the place, so I'm going to go in and show off how to use the zone system. I've got one of each type of staff, except for entertainer and security guard, which I really need security guards. But the zone system here, you click and drag over an area, and you can assign staff to that zone, and the staff will stay within that zone. They will only leave if they need to go to a training center or to a staff room to rest. So this first zone here I'm using to cover the train station, the trams, the shops, and just the general entrance area for some janitors and a mechanic. The mechanic can cover both those rides. The janitor can cover the shops underneath the little pagoda thing there. The second zone, this was actually meant to be part of the first zone, but the way it works is if you click inside of a zone and drag over another zone, it overlaps. So you can expand zones over others without destroying them, but you cannot overlap zones and have two things happening in one spot at the same time. All zones have to be distinct, and you cannot assign people to two zones either, so you have to make sure that you're planning them very carefully. This first zone, I'm buying a mechanic specifically for the zone. I'm going to put a few janitors specifically in this zone and security guard because those benches are nuts. Hopefully if there's a security guard wandering around, people won't be destroying the benches. But it's really... I'm not entirely sure how the security guard system works. I don't know if seeing a security guard lowers the cooldown on destruction or anything. Like, hey, I saw a security guard in the last 5 minutes, I better be careful, or anything like that. I'm not sure how that works, but I do know that having security guards will hopefully stop that. You can go in and rename the zones, which if you name a zone before you place something in it, it will have that zone name in its own name. So that really long zone name there, train and trams and sitting, if I were to place a burger shop in there, it would say train and trams and sitting burger shop. So when you go into the shops menu, you can tell which one is in which zone, which is really cool, but you have to remember to name things. You have to remember to name the zone before you put things in it. So nothing that I have in these zones right now is going to have a special name because it will be placed afterward. This second zone covers the other train entrance, the coaster, and any rides that go in that area. I'm not sure if the mechanic has to go to a specific station on the train to fix it, but so far only 2 are accessible. And the train has been fixed, so they at least can fix whatever problem was wrong with it right now from the 2 that they can get to. I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter if they can't get to one of the stations, as long as they can get to one. I hire an entertainer here. I got the Scarecrow, because at one point I want part of the park to be spooky, and I figure Scarecrow is kind of thematically neutral for a naturey park, I guess. Checking out the guests. The guests are very hungry, they're kind of thirsty, they're sort of tired. They're doing pretty happy overall. The vandalism is really bad, I know, I'm sorry. They can't get to the miniature railway because the bridge is broken. I left that broken because I didn't really want people going over there yet, but I'm gonna struggle here with the path to open it. I don't know why this path wasn't lining up properly. It was very finicky. I think it's because the terrain underneath the path is determining its height, and it's not being determined based on the same scale as the as the paths on the flat terrain. So I have to delete part of it and just build from the edge, and it took an unreasonable amount of time to get working, but there we go, we did it. And then I just block off this little edge here so that people can't go into the unknowns of the park where there's nothing to go anyway. The train is still broken, or the coaster is still broken. I'm gonna check out and see what all the staff is doing. This janitor's not really doing much, but there's not really anything going on over there anyway. The other one is cleaning the drink shop, which I don't think I realized that the shops get dirty. That must be something newer. And the mechanic's out here fixing the benches. You can fix benches and stuff manually, but I think stuff like that is kind of cheating. I like the game's mechanics to solve problems for me rather than me going in and doing them myself. Security guards just kind of wandering around, hopefully stopping vandalism. I only have one hauler, which one thing I wasn't sure about with the haulers is how I want them to get around the park, because they use employee paths to get around the park, but they can also use regular paths, and guests don't like seeing haulers walking around on the paths. They like haulers to be hidden from view. You can see there's a depot here that covers these 3 shops, but if a hauler wants to take anything way to the other side of the park, they have to either go to that depot if I assign it to the shop, or go to the big depot and then walk through the customer paths, which that's going to cause problems because customers just don't like to see that. It's going to screw up the environment score. I was considering maybe doing paths that go over the paths, so little bridges that cover ground and kind of sneak back in behind the trees, but I'm not sure how guests perceive things like that. Like, do they notice employee paths if they're above them? I don't know how the line of sight works on that. I didn't want to do underground paths because I don't think that a park like this would really have the budget to do a system of tunnels. Like something like this where it goes over and then extends behind the trees. Maybe with some kind of like a garrison or gate theming might work, but I have to do research on how guests actually see that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think a park like this would be able to afford an underground system of paths, but they can use the pneumatic tubes. I can just place more depots elsewhere. These benches are really bad. I really want to hire just a ton of staff and then fire them, but it's so expensive. One of the mechanics is tired and has to go rest, so they're not going to get much work done for a while. There's a staff room inside that building and a staff training room inside that building, and then another 2 on the other side of the park, which I actually should remove because they're costing me money right now and nobody can even get over there. But in the meantime, I'm going to expand the park with some more rides. I end up going with the Twister because the Twister's a pretty staple ride, I think, for any park. I always see a Twister everywhere. And it's not too gentle. It should draw customers, hopefully. And I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. I'm obviously going to put it right there where I put the carousel in the first episode before I screwed it up. But I go around thinking about it a little bit. And around here is where I realize I wasn't really talking about much. I'm talking about stuff a lot more now, so this re-recording is actually good because I was not properly explaining game mechanics in the first recording. I was just kind of doing things and not talking. But here, while I'm building this, I started talking about me. Yesterday was my birthday, hooray! And yesterday was also my 10th day working in a row, hooray! But that's finally over. Now I finally have time to make another video. And I screwed it up. But that's okay, because I got all day. I ran my first full 5K yesterday. I went 3.19 miles without stopping. I am on week 9, day 2 of Couch to 5K, which is a 9-week program, so I only have one more day to go. But I technically graduated yesterday because I did it. I did a full 5K. I cannot believe it. It only took me like 6 weeks to even do, from running 30 seconds at a time and huffing my ass off at the end. Just, oh my god, 30 seconds, to just being able to run for half an hour straight. It's amazing. I cannot believe how fast progress went. And if you want to exercise, go running. It gets easy real fast. I bought a lot of stuff to do it though. So I kind of spent a lot of money on it. But that's okay because according to Couch to 5K, I have run... let's see, I'll open it up right now. I don't even have to look at the screen. I can play the game, I can record stuff, I can check my apps all at the same time because this is pre-recorded. I'm making blueprints. Oh god.
Throw some color in the air.
Shut up. That was the Couch to 5K mascot yelling at me. I have run 71.4 miles since April 21st, or April 19th, excuse me. I have run 14 hours and 12 minutes since April 19th. And I have burned 6,516 calories just from running since April 19th. So that's pretty crazy. But anyway, I'm making blueprints of this fence here because I'm sure it was going to get annoying watching me place it over and over and over and over and over and over and over all over the park. I made a 2-tile one, but I need to make a 1-tile one too. But I think it looks a lot better to remove the fences on rides and add your own custom fences pretty much in every situation. So that's a really nice feature that you can just remove fences with one click. That little path there actually doesn't go anywhere, it's just decorative. I love decorative paths. I'm very detail oriented. I don't want to be like boastful, but I think I'm pretty good at doing detail work in games like this. I mean, look at that little area in front of the Photoshop. It's beautiful. I'm great. So I know I'm going to use that fence all over the park because it's kind of a trademark of the park now. After putting it around the big station buildings and that big preview. What the hell am I saying preview for? That big entrance building. Here I'm placing tons more trash cans because the trash is just ridiculous. In a real theme park, I believe the rule is anywhere that you stand, you should be able to see 8 trash cans, which sounds like a lot, but I actually tested it out at Cedar Point, and you really can see. I believe the least I saw from one point was 6 trash cans. That's something of park design that you don't really think about, but somebody thought about that, and they came up with a standard, and they follow that standard. So I'm trying to follow that standard a little bit in the park, but we'll see how it works. I'm lining all the paths here with this fence. I think it ends up looking pretty good, especially the queue here because the queue reaches over the water, and you'll see here I don't put the fence on the part that looks over the water so that there's spots to look at the water, which isn't something that guests do, but I think a very important thing to do when you're building in a game like this is build things even if they don't mechanically make sense. There's no mechanic where the guests are going to stop and look at the river. But if I don't build to accommodate the possibility that people would want to do that, it's just not going to look natural. See, this looks really nice because it's believable. There's fences blocking views of things that don't really matter, just random bushes. But there's a specific effort taken right there to let people look at the water. I think stuff like that is really important. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm just coloring the queue here. I missed and I hit that bush. The main goal for the design of this park is to keep it looking very natural, because it is supposed to be a national park that has rides in it. It's not supposed to become big concrete midways and huge backstage areas and big restaurants and stuff like that. It's supposed to still feel like you're walking through the woods. So far, I think I've done a pretty good job of accomplishing that. Here, I get fed up because there's so much trash, and I'm going to buy a million janitors, and once everything's kind of caught up, I can just fire them. It's cool. They don't have a union. They can't sue. They can't protest. They're not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to fire them. And they'll go out and they'll work. They'll be my army. The tram got fixed. The tram's doing well. People are riding the train. Not as many people are riding the coaster as I thought were going to. It was making a lot of money while I was building it, but now it doesn't really seem like it is. It has had 350 some customers, and it's making money. It's making profit, so that's good. But I think the guest mechanics might not be very accomplished or complete in that regard, because lines don't really fill up. I don't know if that's just because the park doesn't have any people in it, and I've never played a park long enough for it to really get to that point, but the lines just don't fill up, which kind of bugs me. But you can see somebody said they can't afford the coaster, so I stuck down a cash machine, and I discovered that you can't recolor the cash machine, which is really too bad, because it's got two very obvious colors right there on top. I don't know if stuff like that is still in progress, or if that's just how it is, but I kind of fiddle around here with some umbrellas, and I end up actually not using one at all. Nearby theme park closed, drawing more visitors to me. Oh, that's good. See, I have 118 guests right now, so in a couple minutes we'll see just how much of an impact that made immediately. I am playing on 1 times speed. Normally I play on 2 or 3 times speed, but I don't want things to progress too fast while I'm still trying to fix the benches and trash problem. The trash over here actually looks pretty good now. It doesn't seem like it's overflowing. I really like the bushes next to that ride. That looks really nice. I know I said that when I built it, but just give it another look. It looks good. Here is where I discovered that stuff built in a zone has the zone's name on it. I didn't know that was a mechanic until today. It's actually really cool and convenient, but like I said, you have to name the zone before you put stuff in it, because you'll see here I rename it. I give it Wooden Coaster Zone. So now anything I place in there will say it's in the wooden coaster area, except because I placed the cash machine first, when I go into the ride info menu here, it still says Zone 1 cash machine. So I have to rename it manually. So whenever you place a zone, always remember to name it immediately. It helps you organize things. It helps you automatically name shops. Very good feature. It's very nice. Let's see. Everything's doing pretty good. People want to go on the Twister, but they're not, though. I don't know why. I haven't gained that many guests from that bump and attention yet, but it hasn't been that long. It's only been about a minute and a half. Put things on 3 times speed for a sec to just kind of see. I think I was going to leave it on 3 times speed for a while, but the episode's almost over. I want to do about 20 minutes an episode. Actually, re-recording the audio has been good for this episode because I didn't really talk about much the first time. But this time I really went over mechanics and stuff, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually play in this episode and talk about how the game works. Because before I was just building, which building's fun, but it took up a lot of time and it didn't really accomplish much. But it came out better for the re-recording, so I guess that's good. I'm not going to do much editing on this episode because I've had to watch it to re-voice it and everything, but 20 minutes seems pretty solid. Hopefully it was entertaining enough to watch. I'm doing a big blend of things, building, playing, talking about the game, talking about myself, whatever. So we'll see what happens, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.